Two, one.
Welcome to Pathways to Purpose, where we dive into the journeys, challenges, and insights that shape future leaders and entrepreneurs. I'm Breana Martinez, and this is my guest.
Jay Martinez.
This podcast is proudly recorded and produced by Modoc Media. A big thanks to them for making this series possible. Let's get started. Can you tell us about your background and what led you to become a director at La Vega High School?
Um, do you want the long answer or the short answer?
Um, Both. Sum it up.
Sum it up. I remember getting FL Studio from one of my buddies when I was like in the 7th grade and started producing music all throughout high school. And then throughout later parts of high school, I started like producing music videos for other buddies and just learning how to like edit and stuff like that. Um, and then I went to Full Sail after high school, after I graduated. And at Full Sail, I got my associates in audio engineering, and then I got my bachelor's in show production. Um, and then after that, I went to Austin and I worked as an AV technician for 5 years. And then from there, I moved back to Waco to go to school to do psychology because I liked working with people. That was like my favorite part about working in Austin was like all the people I got to learn. So I wanted to go back to school for psychology, and then I got a phone call to be a teacher, and I was like, well, that's kind of in the realm. It's like a mixture of what I love doing and then working with people. So here I am 5 years later after that. That's like from 2007 to now. So yeah, 2007 was when I was in 7th grade. So
Oh.
7th grade, FL Studio, now teacher, and in the future probably I'd like to be like a therapist or something like that when I'm way older. But yeah, that's my background.
What does a typical day look like for you as a director of Modoc Media?
Depends on the day, depends on the events we're working on, and depends on whatever projects we got going on. As far as this week, we have this Friday's game, so we've been sort of prepping for that. We don't really start diving into it until Thursday, which would be today. And then we also have UIL film that we've had on the back burner for a good minute since September, due January, but it's a slow process doing films. So we got Astral Relics. That's one of our student films that they're working on. And yeah, so right now I just have a film that we're currently like trying to get off the ground. We have these podcasts that we've been doing and then games. So that's kind of what's going on this week, but every week is kind of different depending on what projects we got going on.
How do you see the role of media in education evolving?
The role of media in education. Um, how do I see it evolving? The role of media in education. Well, I mean, there was kind of sort of a shift during the COVID years. We had to like go to Zoom meetings and but then that just went right back to normal. So I kind of thought that that was going to be the future, is everything was going to start becoming virtual. And then we found out that students don't learn that way, and we also found out that people don't work well that way. So I don't really know. Um, I do always tell my students though that like they always ask me like, when am I ever going to use what we learn here like in the real world? And I mean, my answer is this is a communications class. I sort of teach you guys how to take abstract thoughts and ideas and communicate them in an effective way, like let's just say one day you want to be a theoretical physicist and you get these ideas like um and you want to convey those messages to people who are like, normal people who don't do theoretical physics like me. You'd have to explain it or convey that message in a way that would let them understand or learn. And I feel like that's what this class does, is it just helps people convey abstract thoughts, messages. It's communication. So that's kind of how I see media, you know, evolving. It's just that will be the core theme throughout all of it, is conveying ideas and messages.
What are some of the projects you're most proud of that you've worked on with students?
Projects I'm most proud of working with students. So my favorite part about this job is definitely the film aspect. A lot of people in AV, they love different kinds of things. Like I know Mr. Taverner, his favorite thing was sports broadcasting. Like that was his baby. Alvarez loves photography, but mine is film. Like I like the idea of the cinema, movies, shows. So pretty much any film that we've produced, it's got to be my favorite. Yeah.
How do you encourage creativity and innovation among your students?
How do I encourage creativity among my students? That's actually not a strong suit of mine. So that was all. I always relied on Mr. Taverner for that. Like he was very good at inspiring folk. Um, how do I encourage or inspire students? The best way I know how to do it is one-on-one conversations. I try to tap into, what people's personal interests are and what it is that they want to do. Where their passions lie, where their heart is, and then I kind of try to, go for that. Um, but besides that, I'm not very good at like standing in front of a bunch of people and then finding something that they all have in common and then unifying them. So yeah, the answer is just one-on-one conversations and then tapping into people's passions.
What challenges do you face in your role and how do you overcome them?
What challenges do I face in my role? Absolutely, the hardest part about teaching is, uh, man, definitely teenagers doing teenagery things. It's just like it's they um besides that, working with teenagers is great because you guys have a lot of energy, y'all are all inspired, y'all want, you know got a lot of hopes and dreams, and that's awesome. And the only thing standing in your way is yourself, and then me having to watch that is pretty tough. I'm like, if you could just get out of your own way, you would be able to accomplish so much more. That and Roblox. Roblox is like, I got a lot of kids now who are graduated. I'm like, well, if they just spent, a couple days less on Roblox, they would be so much further on in life. So Roblox and kids getting in their own way is probably my answer.
How do you measure the success of media projects in your school?
Me personally, I mean, the official answer is competition. Competition, that's, how you officially measure it, I guess. But me personally, it's like, I just want to see my kids improve. If you can just show me that you're better than you were when you first walked in, then I call that a success.
What advice do you have for students interested in pursuing a career in media?
What advice do I have for students pursuing a career in media? Um, don't take yourself too seriously. Like just put the work in. Don't sit on an idea, and definitely learn business. Like people who want to go into media have no idea. Like they finally go into it, and then they're like making, you know, an honest wage, but they could be making so much more if they just understood the business and they became their own entrepreneurs for media. If not, they're just gonna be stuck working for the man. So learn business, or you're gonna be stuck working for the man.
How do
Business.
you integrate technology into your media programs?
How do I wait? Say that again.
How do you integrate technology into your media programs?
Uh, I mean, technology is pretty much all we do here. It's like this is a full-on computer lab. Um, yeah, I mean, my whole program is technology based, so it's been there since day one. It's part of the DNA. It's kind of not a struggle.
What role does collaboration play in your media initiatives?
What role does collaboration play? Well, it would just be impossible without it. Uh, I especially like when we have film dates or we're like we have sets going on here. It's so cool to see everybody just running around and they each have their own individual tasks that they're trying to focus on while everybody else is trying to focus on theirs, and then they overlap. So it's impossible without collaboration. What we do here is just so vast, that if everybody's not on board, then it's difficult. So collaboration is key.
How do you foster a sense of community through your media programs?
How do I foster a sense of community in our media programs? I find that a lot. That part is easy because it is a bunch of teenagers, and teenagers just want to have fun and be with their friends. Uh, so that part is actually easy. I mainly focus on just keeping them on task. The community part comes free of charge. So so long as you get a couple people working for the same goal or common enemy, it gets so easy for them to just you know yeah, that part's easy. It's free of charge.
What trends do you see shaping the future of school media programs?
What trends do I see shaping the future of school media programs? Um, what trends do I see? Um, I've never even thought about that. I have this theory that CapCut will be its own social media one day, and everybody's just gonna be using that. I already see a community being built around that, and then we're slowly starting to like move towards CapCut because it's not only is it mobile, but everything's kind of in the box. You don't have to download like extra like templates or software. So CapCut, uh, Unreal Engine, um, that's gonna Adobe's dying, honestly. I feel like if anybody's on Adobe, kind of a dinosaur right now. They're doing their best to keep up with everything, but yeah, that's probably my only answer I got.
How do you handle criticism of your media programs?
How do I handle criticism of my media programs? Well, I feel like I don't hear enough criticism. I feel like everybody's just like, "Hey, you're doing great." I would I would welcome more criticism. That'd be nice, so I would know areas for improvement. Yeah, I actually don't hear very much criticism now that I think about it.
What impact do you think media literacy has on students today?
Media literacy. What impact do I think media literacy has on students today? I think nowadays kids kind of come with media literacy already. Like it's a surprise if kids come to you without, any type of digital literacy. The only struggle I see is kids shifting from phone to like actual desktop softwares. Um, so like it blows my mind that kids don't know that like Control C, Control V is copy paste, things like that. Control Z is undo. So having to teach somebody that is a little um, surprising. But besides that, kids show up with media literacy already embedded into them.
What are your hopes for the future of your media programs?
Hopes for the future. Here coming soon, we'll have a lot more space. Uh, I know Alvarez has got his stuff, Webb's got his stuff going on, but for me, my biggest thing is I want a mocap playground. So that's just kind of like a space where we can do motion capture for animation. I don't know if you know what motion capture is.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm imagining like a big space, padded grounds, raised levels where we can, get a lot of different animation assets recorded, like falling off of something or, catching a ball. That way we can use it in our animations that we have. Currently, we don't have that, and I foresee that being like the future. The last thing that I feel like Modoc Media needs, or the last thing that we need to take care of is like computer animation and stuff like that. Everything else we kind of got off the ground. That's kind of like our last frontier that we gotta tackle.
That's a wrap for today's episodes of Pathways to Purpose. A special thanks again to Modoc Media, our amazing student AV team, for handling the production of this podcast. Until next time, stay curious and keep chasing your dreams.